All right, let's just watch this for now. Maybe, you know, give the servers a little break.
So, after almost 4 years, Guild Wars 2 is releasing a new set of elite specializations. Every class is getting a new specialization, and they have now all been officially revealed. Today, I want to take a look at all of them, in case you haven't kept up with all of the reveals.
I want
and I
that
also want to share my personal thoughts. Along the way,
emote.
we'll even make a tier list of how much hype I am feeding for the different specs. Because after all, every video needs a tier list.
True.
Very soon,
True.
we'll be able to try these elite specializations for ourselves in the beta.
No,
so
we
maybe
can't.
this video
Lies.
can be helpful in figuring out which
Not
one you want
true.
to try. Let's get started. The first elite spec we got to see is for the Mesmer. This is the Troubadour. The Troubadour is the long-awaited music specialization for Mesmer, and as someone who led a music guild for 10 years, I am really excited about this theme.
What?
The Troubadour's F skills are no longer shatters, but instead they are
Led a music guild. What is that? What is that? What does that mean? Music? What? She had a guild that performs concerts in game. What? What is that? That's insane. Okay, so there's instruments that you can actually play in Guild Wars 2, and so it's like an FXV, where we have bards that play music, and we have like groups of people that will go and perform music. It's really cool. Wow! You can equip instruments that can be fully played with different notes in game. Uh-huh. Awesome. Wow, I didn't know that. I don't think I've seen that in game yet. I don't remember seeing it, but...
instruments that you can play. Each instrument has its own effects, like damage or healing. When you finish playing an instrument, it will also stick around for a little while in illusionary form. And that is where it gets interesting. Similarly to the Virtuoso, the Troubadour doesn't build up clones. Instead, you will get these notes, and the more notes you have when you summon an instrument, the longer that the instrument will last. You actually get a little bar over the instrument skill in your UI, so you can keep track of how much longer your instrument has left.
Okay.
It's almost a little bit like a pet class. So if you're smart, you build up some notes before you summon an instrument. And then, once you have a whole bunch of instruments, you can press crescendo and get some super strong damage or healing effects. I love how the Troubadour turns the usual Mesmer shatter mechanic completely upside down.
So, first, when she said it's like Virtuoso, and you have a copy of the loot, like, floating next to you, in my mind, I'm like, oh, shit. Conjure this loot and frickin' throw it at your face. Like, smash guitars on people's faces. But, unfortunately... that is not the case.
I actually think it's a lot more of a game changer than the Virtuoso was, and I
There's
love
some drumsticks at you.
I cannot wait to try the Troubadour, and I think this spec will be truly awesome. So, on my excitement tier list, Troubadour is going into S tier. Up next is the Luminary, the new specialization for Guardian. Luminary feels a bit
so
like
I think it looks so cool.
Guardian meets Holosmith? Luminaries get this spooky blue brazier, which they can channel into themselves to enter Radiant Shrouds. In Radiant Shroud, you get access to Radiant weapons. Each skill in your bar is a different Radiant weapon, and each skill also has a flip over. There's a hammer, a staff, a sword, and a shield, and you can use all of these. The more weapons you decide to use, the longer the cooldown of Radiant Shrouds will be, and different weapons will give you bonuses that linger after you exit your shrouds. So if you're smart, you might want to end your shroud on a certain weapon so that you get the right bonus effects. This shroud mechanic reminds...
Wait, so you have a different weapon for every button for Luminary? But then, what weapon do you carry in your hand? How does this work? Does your weapon that you carry in your hand change into other kind of weapon? Do you not see your weapon? What's going on?
Me a lot of Holosmith, which I think is good because Holosmith is one of my favorite elite specializations ever. Luminaries also keep their regular core guardian virtue skills, which I think is kinda neat since I haven't really used those in PvE for years. But the Luminary has also seen quite some criticisms for its shroud visuals. A lot of people say that they're a bit blinding, which I think it's pretty fair.
Blinding.
When you're in Shroud, you also get this little bar, which denotes how much time you have left. And while I'm glad that there is a bar at all, I think it's just really small. I really don't know why the developers keep adding these super small UI elements. I wish they just make it large and easier to see at a glance.
Honestly,
overall, I think Luminary has the potential to be really fun, but the visuals and the UI may need to be tweaked a bit. On my hype list, Luminary is going into B tier. The Ranger.
For me, that would be probably A. I really like the aesthetic and the idea of it, but that's probably one of my biggest gripes actually about the game is the UI that you can't really edit. You can't really customize very much at all. That's been a real problem for me. I wish I could, in particular, make icons bigger. Definitely, because like my screen gets bigger and my vision gets worse over time.
The Ranger will be getting the Galeshot specialization, and this is definitely looking like one of my favorites.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
so cool.
The longbow and the shortbow are actually pretty good weapons for Ranger, but none of the elite specs have really leaned into that archery team very much. Until now. The Galeshot gets access to the Cyclone bow. They still have their 2 regular weapon slots as well, but you can now press F5 and switch to your Cyclone bow whenever you want.
I'd like to test that,
There is no
actually.
cooldown to this. You can just pop in and out whenever, just like the tomes on Firebrand. All Cyclone bow skills, except for the auto attack, use arrows. You regenerate these arrows over time, and they show up around your health bar. These skills have some gorgeous animations, and they also generate wind force. When you have enough wind force, your auto attack becomes Hawkeye, which has you jumping into the air and unleash.
What is this icon? What the hell?
Attack becomes Hawkeye.
Oh my god! This is Peepo stare icon. That's terrifying. Okay.
Which has you jumping into the air and unleashing a super amazing 360 no scope. So cool.
God,
After the initial reveal,
cool,
a lot of people thought that the Galeshot was looking maybe a little basic. But now that we've seen gameplay, I think it looks like a total blast to play. It adds this whole new dimension to playing Ranger, and I think it will also be super fun in open worlds. You can just run around, and then when you need range, you can just pop in and out of your Cyclone bow whenever. The utility skills are Squall skills, and these all look super fun. They're all just pretty unique. There's an ice wall you can shoot projectiles through, a dash that launches you into the air, and an elite skill which literally throws a tornado. Galeshot seems like it's primarily DPS focused, but it is also able to give its allies quickness. I find that a bit surprising since Untamed is already pretty good at that, but Druid is a little bit shaky as an alacrity DPS. Regardless though, Galeshot looks super fun and I cannot wait to play it.
Hold up. How far in the air can you shoot yourself to be jumping up? Because does this mean that me, a person without a bunny mount, could jump higher to places that I need to reach in Heart of Thorns that are difficult for me? That could I just launch myself up to the platform that I shouldn't be at?
Yes,
normally?
my hype is in S tier. The new specialization for Thief is the Antiquary, and this was initially definitely a more controversial spec. As we've gotten more details, the perception has kind of shifted, and there seems to be a lot of excitement around it now. Antiquaries are artifact hunters, and they team up with a Scrit companion to obtain these artifacts. The spec really leans into a powered-up version of the Thief's steal mechanic, Scrit Snatch. Every time you use it, you get 2 artifacts, and the ones that you get are random. There are a lot of artifacts you can get, so this might just be the elite spec with the most new available skills. It seems perfect if you're into reactive gameplay. Instead of following a set rotation, you roll the dice and react to whatever the game throws at you. RNG can, of course, also be kind of frustrating, and because of that reason, there are traits that let you control the RNG just a little bit. You can get a third artifact, or get access to reshuffle, or guarantee that you will always get one offensive and one defensive artifacts. There are also utility skills which you can use while they are on cooldown. But depending on how early you use them, they have a chance to backfire and potentially give you a negative effect as well. Probably not something you would want to use in most situations, but it's an interesting risk to take when you are in a tough situation. Because who knows, maybe you will get lucky. I really like the idea of Antiquary. It just seems very unique and not like any other spec that we've ever seen before. But I do think the randomness needs to be properly tuned, because otherwise it could end up feeling a little bit annoying to play. On my list, Antiquary is going into A tier.
So I agree on the S tier picks, but I would swap... Wait, why don't we have F tiers? Like, we don't have tiers below B? Like, where's the C, D, and F? I mean, for me, I couldn't care less about Antiquary. Like, y'all can keep that one. I have no interest, thank you. No, just no.
The next elite spec is one that will immediately be familiar to Guild Wars 1 players.
It's not that... I'm not saying that the spec is F tier. It's about your hype, right? It's a hype meter F tier. How much do I personally care about that?
Warrior is getting Paragon, which was originally a class in Guild Wars Nightfall. The class has been pretty faithfully reinterpreted for Guild Wars 2, giving warriors their first ever spec truly designed to be a healer. As a Paragon, you get access to free chants.
I actually love this.
These all have an initial supportive effect, and after that they will continuously pulse support over time by draining these motivation points. You generate these motivation points every time you use a burst skill, so you want to burst a bunch and then pulse lots of supports. It is honestly a bit more involved than I expected, and it makes me excited to give Heal Warrior another shot. I really like the animations, and there's this super neat elite skill that temporarily makes you and your allies unable to die. This wing animation, oh, it looks just so cool. While I love the theme of Paragon, I do have a couple of concerns. I think it's probably the most basic of the new elite specs. The traits just don't feel super exciting, and with the current preview, it looks like there's not a lot of DPS options. I really want to be able to play DPS Paragon or Boon DPS Paragon, but I'm not really sure how viable that is going to be. I think the developers may need to cook these traits just a little bit more. I would say my excitement for Paragon is currently about B tier.
What? That's so crazy. It's amazing. What? This is up at the top for me. Especially if you're telling me that other people around me can use their ability to make me not die. Could we, like, have people go in order and take turns? Just lots and lots of Paragons, one after another, to prevent me from dying. I'll be immortal.
But Paragon is not the only returning class from Guild Wars 1. Necromancer is getting the Ritualist, based on the class from Guild Wars factions. And wow, this is an incredible looking elite spec. I am so excited. With this specialization, you get access to Ritualist shrouds. Once you're in there, your skills will summon different spirits, which all have an initial attack and then keep auto-attacking. It almost looks a bit like playing Mesmer with clones, but there is a lot of QOL. You can shadow step your spirits around. Your F skills let you rupture your spirits, but if a spirit expires, it also automatically ruptures. So convenient. It looks like so much fun to place your little group of spirits, and it feels so in line with the Guild Wars 1 Ritualist. The traits also look fantastic.
Oh, it was in Guild Wars 1.
Letting you teleport spirits around, letting spirits persist after you leave Shroud, and even giving bonus effects to summoned creatures. Minions are also summoned creatures, so minions might just be a lot better on Ritualist. Is it finally time to play a minion monster? Ritualists can give their allies boons, and there are also a lot of heal related traits. So I expect Ritualist to have solid builds for DPS, boon DPS, and quickness heater. I cannot wait for this spec. It just looks like the pet army spec I've always wanted for Necromancer. This is easily S tier for me. Up next is the Conduit, which is a new specialization for the Revenant. Every Revenant spec introduces a new legend you can channel, and for Conduit this is Raza, a mysterious mist entity that we first encountered in Guild Rush 1.
Wait, what?
As a Guild Rush 1 player, I love this.
Hello.
And the spec really feels like it reflects this old character. Raza was kind of unique, because as a hero in your party, they were able to change their primary class. So, Raza could go from being a Ritualist to being a Dervish, or being a Mesmer, and this Guild Rush 1 gimmick is a big part of Raza's gameplay in Guild Rush 2. Depending on the legend you equip alongside Raza, your lead skill will change, and one of Raza's utility skills will get a bonus effect. There's also a new F2 skill, which has different effects depending on your current legend. This means that Raza should synergize quite well with the rest of your builds. Raza can become good at Connie damage, or power damage, or even strong survivability or support. Staying in a legend for longer also gives you a...
So, just to be clear, all of these can tank or heal or DPS. It just depends on how you build it. Yeah, these are gonna be locked behind the expansion, but you can try the beta now. But good luck trying it today. It's been very difficult to stay connected to the game because the servers are having some instability today.
Affinity stacks, which then extend the duration of your F2 skill. It looks like a pretty fun mechanic, but oh gosh, ArenaNet, why does the UI for this need to be so small? What is this? An energy bar for ants?
Right.
I think Conduit is really elegantly designed and will probably be quite fun. But it is maybe not quite as game-changing as some of the other new specializations. Some of the other ones are just really mind-blowing. I also wish Conduit would have access to quickness or alacrity to make support Conduit a lot more viable. All in all though, I will definitely be giving Conduit a try, just maybe after I try some of the other specializations first. For now, Conduit is going into a low A tier.
Wow, I'm surprised. It sounded like
I'm gonna try immediately is the Amalgam, which is the new specialization for Engineer. Engineer is one of my most played classes, so I was really hoping that I would like this spec. Fortunately, it looks like ArenaNet delivered.
Oh,
Amalgams have a symbiotic bond with a slimy ooze creature, and your ooze can transform into all kinds of stuff. It's kind of left field, and not a theme I ever expected, but honestly, I think it's really fun. An Amalgam's tool belt is replaced by morph skills. Instead of getting tool belt skills based on your utilities, you get to just choose from a pool of morph skills. It's like you get an entire customizable extra skill bar. There are a lot of these morph skills. Your ooze can turn into a giant hammer, a massive blade, or even a protective layer of spikes.
Oh, you can be spiky.
Your F5 skill becomes evolve.
That's actually pretty cool.
And this skill has effects that depend on the morph skills that you pick. So for example, picking the hammer morph skill also adds healing and stability to your F5 skill. This means that you can kind of customize your F5 skill for your specific builds. There are also some pretty neat chemically inspired utilities, like one that turns you into a gas to stun break, and one that turns you into a liquid to evade. I do think that the last one could use a more flowy animation, you know, to really make it feel like you're playing Splatoon. I am incredibly impressed by the Amalgam. The theme is kind of interesting, the buildcraft options seem endless, and the skills look super fun to use. No notes. I cannot wait to give this one a shot. My hype is absolutely S tier.
Wow.
Next, let's look at the Elementalist spec.
I'd put it at A.
The Evoker. Oh my gosh. It's got cute animals. Look at that fox. There is a cute rabbit.
It's a
water otter.
This is what I'm here for.
Toad. Oh my god. The Evoker evokes a spirit friend that hangs out with you. And the neat thing is that you pick one to take into battle. It's kind of like choosing your starter Pokemon. The Fire Fox is more Conduit focused. The Air Hare is focused on power, the Water Otter is great at healing, and the Earth Toad is good for survival. You charge up your spirit friend by casting weapon skills, and once you have enough charges, you press F5 to let your spirit do its basic skill. After 3
so
of these
happy
basic
about this.
skills, your familiar can cast its empowered skill, and those look super fancy. Each familiar specializes you into a specific element and encourages you to use it a lot. Skills for that element charge your familiar faster, and the cooldown for that element also gets reduced a lot.
It's kind of like, I'm having some graphical problems watching the video. I don't really know why that's happening. Hey, I have a question about this. So you can just focus on one animal? Like, what if I only want to do bunnymancy? Is that okay? Or are you expected to be swapping around all the different animals?
Panic reminds me a lot of fresh air, which lets you go into air attunement a lot. I think fresh air is one of the most fun traits in the game, so having a spec that similarly lets you go into certain attunements faster...
Okay, yes, you can hard focus on one. That's great!
Seems like super fun. There are also some pretty fun looking utilities,
I'm so glad.
like this air dash and this earth shield. These also get bonus effects if you're specialized in that specific element. But as of right now, that is just a bonus stun break. I love how, by choosing your spirit friend, this spec has a lot of different playstyles. There are options for damage, healing, quickness, alacrity. It is just so flexible.
I'm very, very happy about it.
There's even a trait that locks you into a specific element. I don't think it's really for me, because I actually like attunement swapping.
No.
But if you are a true fire wizard, this might be perfect for you. All in all, I love everything about the Evoker, and it's gonna be the first spec I'm gonna try in the beta. Setting things on fire with a cute fox, count me in. This is my most hyped spec. It's going right to the top of
totally agree.
S-tier.
S++.
And with that, we have now discussed all the new
true.
elite specializations for Visions of Eternity.
All right.
If you're excited, make sure to try them out in the beta that is starting on Wednesday. I will, of course, also be streaming this beta a lot over on twitch.tv/LARANITY. I think in general, this new set of elite specs looks really, really well done. But of course, I'm also really curious to hear your thoughts. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
That was nice. Well, I sure wish that I could test the beta specs, but I can't right now because the game is not staying online. It is too hard. Someone, how do you heal people, warrior? I yell at them to get better. Pull yourself together, soldier. Awesome. So it looks like your favorite elite specs are Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox. What a great comment. Wow. That's funny as hell. So for me, I think the Ranger one with the Galeshot bow looks amazing. Bunnymancy is my #1 thing I'm excited about. Troubadour looks okay, but honestly, I'm kind of already locked into Virtuoso, so I don't really see myself playing a lot of Troubadour. And actually, I thought Luminary and Paragon looked really neat too, but my prios are definitely Bunnymancy and hold on a second. The Galeshot, I think. Yeah. Is that what it's called? Yes, it is what it's called. Those are the ones I'm most excited for.